we can like resume from replay and just
I'll
check
be the Protoss. You know what I will do, but you started turrets immediately.
Exactly. All right, guys, we're now into game number 2. The map is Whirlwind, and spawning in the top left location, representing Axiom Gaming. On the ropes a little bit, needs your support. We have CranK. And over in the top right-hand corner, it seems like we have a Terran-biased audience here, representing Western Wolves, ladies and gentlemen. He's up 2-0. Fantastic aggression in game number 2. Are we going to see the same on Whirlwind? We have Sting.
And Sting going for the standard barracks by his ramp here is going to follow this up with a refinery. So more of a standard play here by him. We saw him going for the proxy in the previous game. CranK is going for double assimilator. We remember he wanted to go for this in the first game, but he ended up scouting a quick command center, which made him divert his play and go for the quick nexus. Could we see a Stargate and an Oracle? I think there's a fairly good chance here we might.
Well, yeah, in these positions as well, I mean, there's just so much dead space to the left of Sting's main, and to the this kind of play is definitely encouraged in these spawn positions. We'll see what their tech choices end up being once they scout it out. And we actually see the SCV from Sting. He's going to be scouting cross positions first. And of course, strategies might change on a large map like this, depending on whether your opponent is across the map, so there's a lot of terrain by ground, or whether he's to the left of you or beneath you, and therefore he's close by air, which is why he's scouting cross first, because that might dictate the strategy he does going forward as the reactor goes down on his barracks.
Yeah, and will he scout CranK second, or will he scout him last? Does look like actually going to be last. He seems to want to scout the bottom right hand position before the top left one. A quick mothership core. Oh, and I know what we're gonna see. TT1 would approve here. Yeah. This is a build where you get a very quick mothership core. You see he didn't start any stalker before warp gate, then mothership core, and he's gonna scout very quickly and go for double forge behind this most likely. And then if you see that your opponent went for a very quick expansion, you know that you're very safe, you don't need detection. Then double forge is perfect. If you see what CranK might see here with the command center and the factory, the very quick factory as well, he might end up going for a robo on some earlier detection. Oh, he's actually going for a Twilight Council.
Whoa, okay. A very early Twilight being put there in a hidden basically hidden from view from a potential scan, the bottom left-hand corner of the base, which does have to immediately cast suspicion on very, very quick Dark Templars coming out here from CranK.
Maybe he wants to try his luck again with some Dark Templars, but when he does see the starport here, I'm not sure what he's going to think, because he's not expecting 1-1-1. We usually don't see a Raven out of this, so it should not change too much. Did he see the command center? Yeah, he did. So he knows everything right now. The thing is, he's going to need detection. If you go for a Twilight Council like this, it's going to be hard. So he could go for a Blink and Observer from there and keep his mothership core at home.
SCV gets into the main base, and he actually gets past the Stalker. If he goes south, he will see the Twilight Council and the Dark Shrine that just started, but he's not going to see it. The Stalker will kill him off before that happens. Sting, though, must be wondering what the tech choice is. All he saw was that first gateway, and he does see that gas has been mining for a while.
And Sting is moving across the map with a couple of Marines, and this is so smart, because Protosses, we've been getting our mothership core very early on, and because of that, we don't have nearly as much unit as we will in Wings of Liberty, meaning one Zealot, one Stalker, and then one Sentry, and then gates early on. So right now there is only one Stalker out on the map. Sting might be able to force a photon overcharge out of CranK, in which case, I mean, this is very costly. It's 100 energy. It takes a long time to recharge.
And the Dark Shrine, as well as 50 seconds away from completion right now, 45. Photon Overcharge does actually get put down, so it was forced out of him. Ooh, managing to pick off the Widow Mine, which is nice there. But CranK, with 30 seconds to go until the Dark Shrine is complete, Todd, he doesn't have a probe out on the map. He's not able to get a forward pylon.
And that's a huge mistake. He should have been planning ahead here. He's going for the robotics facility as well as a forge, so he's only going to be on 2 gates here. And he's been making a lot of probes. So it's going to be an economical advantage, but he needs cannons. He needs cannons in each base. He's going for the War Prism. He wants to drop the DTs, but why make a Dark Shrine so early if you're not going to use it immediately? He's getting a cannon in his natural. He's not going to have a second photon overcharge ready before this drop hits his main. He has to be very careful.
And the drop's going to hit his main from an angle where it's quite likely he will spot. Yeah, he's going to spot the Dark Shrine and the and the Twilight Council as well. Oh, he changes course at the last minute, but he does spot the Dark Shrine, and now Sting knows that DTs are a potential threat.
And he already started an engineering bay. A couple Marines will be dropped here as well as a mine. And the cannon will actually be able to detect the mine. He should move it. He might be ending up picking it up. He's leaving it behind.
Yep.
You're leaving a man behind.
Wow.
And the War Prism is finding its way to Sting's base right now. It has 2 Dark Templars in it. He might drop in the corner where Sting cannot see here. And Sting, he hasn't started turrets right now. He's going to start one on his expansion, one in his main mineral line. Will the DTs be on time to maybe get a cancel on it?
Oh, this is very, very tense here, of course. And the
we have 1 scan available. A second one should be, and third one actually will be up shortly, but no units to deny it.
Oh, and we just have a single Marauder. The turret is about to complete. The DT in the main is just hanging around. In the natural, we actually have the turret up and a bunch of Marines already. And it looks like, oh, the scan is going to miss the Dark Templar. So CranK still hiding around with 1 DT, but the turrets are up and there is army in both bases. And I actually want to iterate a point that you had last game, Todd. Information through aggression. Imagine if Sting hadn't seen this Dark Shrine there when he was going for that drop, he wouldn't have started those turrets so early, and he wouldn't have kept some of the army back as well. So really good point you made there.
Yeah, but it was really CranK's mistake not to have a probe out on the map or proxy the pylon earlier. Seriously, if he had sent DTs as the Dark Shrine finished, he could have done so much damage. He might have won the game instantly because Sting wasn't ready for this. And CranK right now is trying to come back in this game with some Colossus play. He's getting the robotics bay. He's adding on a lot of extra gates. But I think we're going to see a very aggressive Sting here because he knows he's ahead. I mean, he's only killed 2 probes earlier, but now the Dark Templars, they didn't do any single damage to his economy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The number of workers killed, I mean, it's 2-1 this game so far. Definitely no significant damage done from either side. And Sting is going to be coming in with yet another drop. We have 1 in the natural at the moment, another medevac in the main. Oh, he's going to leave a couple of Marines behind there. It does actually get fended off very quickly, so not time to coincide at the same time. And this drop in the main is being put down in a corner. Oh, and CranK does see it.
Might be used.
He can see it.
I think he's going to use Photon Overcharge and bring back a couple stalkers. We have the cannon that should buy some time for CranK where those Marines to move into the middle line. He's going to go for a pylon, pick up and leave. Nice choice here, not over committing. And Photon Overcharge was actually used.
Yeah, it was. I mean, as the army was starting to get back now, I'm a little bit surprised, but fair enough. A second forge going down now for CranK and a backup pylon there as well, because that pylon in the main base looking a little bit lonely at the moment.
And you know, CranK, he still has the War Prism just right above the main of Sting. It's ready to warp a couple units, and just as I say that, I think he's going to send in a couple Zealots most likely, because he knows there is a turret in the mineral line. Okay, he goes for the 1 Dark Templar. He's going to go for a depot.
And Dark Templar and a Warp Prism for Depot, guys. You've seen it here first. It looks like the Warp Prism is about to go down. That Viking will take care of that. And the Supply Depot is definitely deader than dead.
CranK moves out here. He gets caught out of position. He has no force fields left.
Oh no!
He has a Photon Overcharge just ready at this time, and there's just so much army for Sting.
He needs to be very careful. Good positioning, warping in those Zealots to try and act as a front line there. He will be able to push us back for now in conjunction with the Photon Overcharge. That Colossus doing so much DPS. One, he got close, and Sting's going to have to wait for that overcharge to... Oh no, he's not! But now there's a second Colossus here from CranK, and I think Sting doesn't really want to go back in.
And CranK is in a weird position. I mean, he's lost some economy. He's down to 48 probes to 57 SCVs. He's been proxying pylons. He's on a lot of gates. He's getting Colossus tech. He knows that his opponent most likely doesn't have Vikings yet. We might see a big timing being hit by him, but he's still making a couple probes.
Oh, another drop going, picking off the Twilight Council here. He might try and get the Dark Shrine as well. No, he's going to pick up and leave. Very nice pickup there from Sting. He's actually making 3 supply depots at the moment. He's been stuck on 110 for a little while now, but he's constantly doing damage with these drops, and that's what counts.
I think Sting realizes that there is a lot of Colossi on the field. He's going to go for the second starport. He wants to get a lot of Vikings to deal with those. He's about to hit 1-1 on his Bioforce. CranK is already 1-1. He started 2-2. He has a choice. He can go for a timing where he has 2-2 and he gets maybe a bunch of Archons from those Dark Templars and some Zealots to tank, or he can try and take a third, but Sting being dropping everywhere.
And that was actually such a close timing on that Twilight Council as well, of course, because he just started 2-2 when the Twilight Council was picked off, so he could continue with that. If he hadn't started that yet, the pickup would be huge. Oh, and he might be going back for the Forges now. You're absolutely right. Double drop into the main base. We have a Zealots, though. He spots that it's there. Can he get an army back in time? No, it's actually at his third base. CranK's army is out of position. The Zealots are not going to be enough here. He has a DT coming in as well, so might force a scan. And, okay, I think this warp in should be able to hold him off long enough. But the army's still at the third. He's not really moving much.
Yeah, Sting didn't lose much here. He was able to kill a lot of units. He's going to drop in the third, but the army is ready.
Exactly. So that's why he was relying purely on warp-ins. He wasn't sending the entire army back because he knows the medevacs can just hop over to the third and force the cancel of the Nexus.
Oh, and we're going to have a big timing here by Sting. He has no plan to take a turn in this game. He's pulling SCVs. CranK trying to take a third right now. He's trying to get a Templar Archives and most likely some Templars, but he's not going to have time to do this. And actually, this is very nice for CranK. He has a Dark Templar in the middle of the map. He saw this entire army. I think he might have been able to see a couple SCVs as well.
He didn't see the SCVs. He didn't see the SCVs. It died just before the SCVs came into vision of that watchtower. It was on his vision.
He cancels the Nexus anyway. He realizes there is too much. So he's going to just stay in his expansion. He needs a couple Archons here to hold. Zealot and Archons. He can make those from Dark Templars. He's getting charged. He's getting +2 attack. He's going to be 2-2 before the fight begins. He needs Photon Overcharge as well, which he uses immediately.
2-2 completes now. Photon Overcharge. The SCV is actually mainly going into the mineral line. They're actually trying to attack a... oh no, one of the cannons at the moment, so they're tanking a minimal amount against these Zealots here. That is not what Sting would have wanted at the start of this engagement. The Vikings picking apart the Colossi. There are some Stalkers left, but the Bio Army from Sting, there's a lot of it still on the ramp. No Archons here. The Zealots have disappeared, and now he's going to try and turn around and fight again, but the army is targeting the Stalkers down. That's where the DPS from CranK lies, and Sting at a 30 supply advantage. DT's being warped in now as well. I don't think it's going to quite be enough. And
great micro here by Sting. Moving in there, sniping all of the Stalkers one by one. CranK had no reaction to this. If Sting had been fighting the Zealots here, CranK would have held, comfortably kill all those units and be in a good position. But he lost all of his Stalkers. That was such a costly loss. CranK behind this is... He was actually getting another Colossi, but I think he just cancelled it. Another Colossus.
Oh, it's because he's going straight for another Nexus now as well. He still has...
he wants to get Templars.
Yeah. Definitely.
He does not have the gas for everything right now. He's trying to get Storm, and his Mothership Core, actually, he saved it very nicely. You should not be using it in fights at this point in the game, because he's just going to die instantly. So he used the Photon Overcharge, he sent it back above his ramp, where his robotics facility is, and he's getting 2 extra gates here. If he can get up to a couple Templars with Storm, he might be able to hold, but there's just so much army supply here for Sting. 80 to 40.
Yeah, this is so difficult. Round number 2 coming in now, and Sting going straight for the Nexus, picking off the cannon there. And what can CranK do? He has to engage if he doesn't want this base to go down, but more SCVs coming in. Great first Storm, but he needs to follow it up with some action on the ground. The second Storm only catching a couple of units here. Third Storm pushing some of the army back too. The Zealots, are they going to be enough? Only 3 or 4 of them left. The army is on such low health from Sting, but the 3 medevacs survive, and CranK's supply is whistling.
Yeah, Sting is going to start a step against the Zealot and Archons, but the Archons, I mean, they just want to slap this entire Bioforce. They are going to be left alone. They need Zealots to tank for them. And the second Nexus is actually very low need points. We have Vikings landing in the main of CranK. They sniped a couple units. Sting might be able to finish CranK here.
Oh no, the Archons are being sent up to attack the Vikings. Is this Bio Army going to be able to clean up here? A couple of Zealots trying to delay them a little bit. The Vikings are going to go down, and now the Archons are back in the natural expansion, but the Zealots have gone. He needs a couple more to tank this. Here we go, a Dark Templar there to try and do some damage as well, and just about holding Sting off, but he did successfully get the Nexus.
Yeah, he got the Ninja Nexus. Sting, actually, he made a command center, a third command center in the midst of all this. He's going to fly it to a third base. He could actually fly his main command center somewhere else, because, I mean, there's no minerals left in his main. He does not need gas. He's on 1,000 already. Another engagement.
Oh, and this is looking a little bit better this time. A Storm available, and those 2 Archons doing a lot of damage. He could potentially pick up those medevacs if he's not careful as well, but needs to deal with those Marauders at this moment in time. Both of them still alive. One of them almost on no shields. Needs to pull them back. Good timing there. Oh, is he going to lose them? Oh, so close up the ramp. And yes, he loses one. The second one, not a lot of shields, and some probes actually in the way right now. But Sting doesn't have enough units to capitalize.
And CranK, he needs to transfer probes, more probes to his third Nexus, but Sting, he keeps on attacking. He's relentless with those attacks, and CranK never had the opportunity to transfer enough probes to his third to capitalize on it, on this third Nexus. Sting, he wants to finish now. Although he's getting Ghost in the meantime, he has a third. He wants to keep applying pressure. He does not want the Protoss to reach a critical mass. Big Storm hits this Bioforce and those Medivacs. Still, he's going to continue start stepping here, but those Medivacs are actually very low hit points here.
Yeah, that's a huge Storm there, forcing as well with that Dark Templar a scan. But the thing is, Sting does have some money in the bank at the moment, and this remaining army is now uncontested. CranK down to 40 hit points, 40 supply rather, 35 and falling.